Hello and welcome to my basic tutorial on tool use in Ollama. So first, as usual, I'm going to explain what tool use is and then we'll get to building. So first, what is tool use? So first I'm going to start with where is it useful before getting to the actual definition, right? And so if we go back to my chart of like the 4 different styles of RAG that you have, right? Tool use becomes very good between 2 and 3, right? Where it's like a necessary part of specialized AI agents, but you can like use it on its own and you can kind of mix it with vector DBs and cause similarity. And so it kind of fits in that layer of the stack. And so this is just to give you some context as to the level of abstraction we're dealing with. And so now we get into what is tool use. Tool use is giving the models the ability to interact with and gain information from the world, right? So in essence, all it's doing is you connect the model up to the world using these tools, right? So whenever you say, for example, do like a web search or anything, what you're doing is you're using the tool of your laptop or your phone or whatnot, and then I guess in this case, for more close analogy, you're using the tool of your browser, and then in the browser you type in the search bar like, how do I like do something like, or like what is photosynthesis or whatever, and then you give that to the model and not the model, the like search bar, and the search bar will return with you with information. And you can do the exact same thing with the models, right? And so now you get them, instead of doing RAG, like regular vector DB RAG, what you're instead doing is you're doing a tool use based RAG, where you give the models and you let them use a tool, and they will go into the world by using the tool, get information and bring it back, right? And then if you can also have the models do stuff in the world, right? So you can have the model like run shell commands or like edit your calendar or do any of that, right? And so I have a few videos on my channel where I get models to do exactly that, right? Like if you go back in my channel's history, you can see I have like a demo of a calendar LLM or like a demo of like a terminal LLM, and it's just like all I'm doing is I'm having models and I'm giving them tools to interact with the world, right? And so tool use is effectively the connector between the model and the world. So now what are we building today? We're building a simple English terminal system that will take your English and put it into the terminal, right? We're not going and building like a fancy, like you can only interact with that terminal through the model, and like we're not using the model as like a layer between you and the terminal. What we're doing here is effectively, we're doing a really quick demo of the model interacting with the world. And by the world in this case, it's the terminal, right? And so all it will be is you type your, like what you want to do, and the model will go out and it will interact with the terminal and bring it back to you, the stuff that like it will just convert it into like a terminal command, and it will run that terminal command for you. So we're effectively having like a middle, let's say in between like a true like terminal LLM that again I have a demo of earlier on my channel if you want to see like a full demo, and like just this is just a tool use example, right? You're just learning how tool use works. So now let's get building. Okay, so now, as usual, we're just going to set up the environment, right? So we're going to start by creating the virtual environment. And so I'm going to just call this tool use tutorial, right? And so we're going to create the virtual environment, and then we're going to start using it. And then the only library we're going to need for this is Ollama, right? Because that's just what we're going to be using on the backend, right? And so like, yeah, you could, a whole bunch of different APIs support tool use. And so here we're using Ollama because I like it running locally, and Ollama is easy to set up for a tutorial. But you could definitely do this tutorial with any one of the different libraries or even just APIs, right? Like I believe the Together API is tool use support, Cohere's is tool use support, OpenAI is tool use support. Like this tutorial will work on any API. You just have to ensure the format is the same. And so now what we can do is we can just start the pie. So we're gonna import Ollama, and what we're also going to do is we're going to import subprocess, right? Because we're making a terminal LM, and so we are setting up subprocess so that we can actually run terminal commands. So I'm just going to make that as a function now, right? Run command. I'm going to take in the command, and for the command, it's going to be one string. And so, okay, first, remember, this is a terminal LLM, and so because it's a terminal LLM, we kind of have to ensure that I don't accidentally RF our entire system, right? Because you don't want LLMs to accidentally delete our entire system. So I'm just gonna have like a, hey, you have to actually accept the thing before you run it, because, you know, it's kind of scary just giving the entire control of your terminal to an LLM. And so, command, colon, and so what this does is this just takes your command and it will just ask you if you want to accept it or not. Well, it will just say your command in a colon, but like, you know, it's accept or not. And so if y that. And so this is like if we accept it, so we intentionally press Y, we intentionally allow it to run that command, then what we're going to do is we're going to actually run the command. So this is just a subprocess.run, and for the args it's just command.split, and then we split it on the space. And then here we're just going to return process results dot standard out, process results dot edit. Now for this example, we won't actually be, and so if we don't want to run the command, we just quit out the program entirely and like cleaning it up. But like, yeah, this command, it's probably doing a little bit too much, because all we want is it just runs the command, right? But here, all we're asking of it is just, hey, run it. And so if you want to expand this later, you can use the same like tool, right? And so now we actually have to make the tool. And so what I've done is I've basically made the tools array before, right? Because in Ollama, you have to give the tools in a specific format. And so this is effectively just a copy of their format. Just this time, I've put in the actual tool itself. And so, like, basically what we're telling it is the tool is a function that it actually does. And then in the function, we give the name of run command. We give a description to run a command. And so I use Ubuntu 24.04, but if you're on Windows, you know, say it's a Windows shell. If you're on Mac, say it's a Mac shell. You know, the LLMs kind of know. And then, you know, we have all the parameters, and, you know, we have the command, and it's all there. Now what we do is we just set up the thing. So while true, right? And so again, I wrote my own system message for this, right? This kind of does need a little bit of prompt engineering, because we're going to be using a very small model. We're going to be using Llama 3.2.1b, right? So we're using a very small model because we do need a little bit of prompt engineering, right? So if you're on Windows, change from Unix to Windows commands, and change from ls and cat to dir and whatever it is on Windows. I don't use Windows. And so, yeah, you're a terminal assistant who will assist users. Cool. Then, now from here, we have, what we go here is we just take the user's query. So the user's query is an input, and we append the message to the messages, right? Cool. Now, from that point, all we have to do is we just have to ask the model for the response, right? So response is Ollama.chat. We're going to Llama 3.2.1b, and then, we're going to Llama 3.2.1b, and then, because that's a really small model, it'll be really fast, and then we'll just say, hey, let's just run the tools, run the commands. Yeah, and so what we're going to do here is now we're going to say, hey, list all the files in this. Let's say also directory. Let's go fancy. List all the files in this directory. It's just saying ls. Yes, this is what we want. Cool. We know there's main.py and the tool use tutorial folder in this directory. Right? Cool. Amazing. Now, of course, this model isn't super good, right? So if you say like remove main.py from, it's like, oh hey, it's not actually calling a tool, right? Like this code is a little bit finicky because it's a very small tutorial and it's with a very small model. If you were using something like Llama 3.1.8b or potentially like the new Mistral v.3, like Mistral 7b.3, like it would be a lot better. And so there's definitely room to improve here. But now, like this is the minimum viable tool use example. And so, and also with a really small model, right? Like if we change it to Llama 3.1, it'd perform a lot better. But that would take extra time. And so I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to actually build on this and build a better like system. Now, of course, if you want some inspiration, you can go back in my channel and find my command line LLM, and that has a lot more features and everything. But for right now, this is a minimal example, and so now you know how to use tools with Ollama. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and Some similar videos that you might enjoy will be on the video now.